clearance a second ago and how far away you would have to be from the edge of the road. When you are designing under the using templates and swept paths, in the Austroads guide there is a recommendation of leaving about 0.6 metres clearance between the path of the vehicle and any fixed objects, roadside furniture and poles and opposing lanes of traffic. So it's good to keep that in mind when you put these paths onto the road. In real life, a truck driver will try and leave about that much, and if you're driving very slowly and carefully, you can thread the needle a bit more precisely than that, but 0.6 metres is a good conservative level of space to allow.
Okay, and then here we have a 5-star example. It's on a freeway, but that doesn't mean that the same attributes can't be adopted local roads or connector roads or sub-arterial roads. Okay, we've got a high speed, but all the mitigation measures are there. So we've got a divided carriageway. There's no intersection of property access, so that helps it a lot, so there's no crossing vehicle movements across the road. We're on a straight. We've got wide lanes. The roadside safety barriers are there. Now, each roadside safety barrier has a different level of risk. Roadside safety barrier does not reduce the risk, it substitutes it. Each barrier has a different risk weighting. We've got the wide paved shoulder, adequate delineation, and a good road surface condition.
In the Northern Territory in particular, over the last 12 to 18 months, there's been quite a lot of discussion and a trial of what they've called de-restricted speed limit. And it's only been on a specific highway between Alice Springs and essentially Darwin or some sections of it. The recent announcement, I think probably about a month ago, was that the Northern Territory Agency had reviewed that trial. They've identified, based on crash data analysis and some enforcement information, that they will extend that trial. They will adopt the deregulated speed limit along this particular highway, and Northern Territory seems to be pretty happy with that.
Do you think that poses a safety risk to, say, tourists, for instance, who are not particularly used to open speed limits and also particularly long rural roads and huge distances between places? Do you think that might be an issue in future that they might come across?
That's an interesting point, Kate, and it's, in some respects, it's one of the reasons why certain advocates are pushing for de-restricted or higher speed limits. In Australia, obviously, the tyranny of distance means that fatigue is a very real road safety issue, and higher speed limits are one measure to try and reduce the time on the road. I'm personally not opposed to higher speed limits, but if we look to the experience overseas, and that's, I think, in my next slide, it's about fitting the speed limit to the road environment that matches the function and, importantly, the safety criteria. The way Northern Territory has applied it, it's on an undivided rural road, lots of straight sections, sure, big wide open environment and big clear zones, but it's still an undivided carriageway.